Well, hello and thank you for joining me for another Alex on Tech and IT Wire event. I'm at the Logitech Universal Ears and Yeti headquarters, Blue, and I'm going to be hearing from, right in front of me on our left is Daniel Hall. He's the category manager for the new Yeti microphones, which we can see there, and he's going to tell us all about it. So let's go for it.
Okay, well, thank you for joining me. Are you familiar with Blue and the Yeti microphone at all? Have you come across it in the past?
Okay. I have. They are excellent.
Yeah, so the Yeti has been in the market for about 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Blue Microphones has been making microphones for a very long time. They actually started with musicians, making microphones for musicians. Some notable ones being Imagine Dragons, probably being the most recent, through to Sting. Use the Blue mic as well. Very different sort of microphone. We're talking about a $10,000 microphone, but still same sort of technology and same company. So the heritage is very, very strong. So the new product that we're talking about today is the new Yeti X microphone, and it's the next evolution of the Yeti range. A couple of key differences with the new Yeti X versus the previous generation. The most notable there is the VU meter. So there is
right
a live,
there.
Yeah, so there's a live voice meter, which is really handy for, as a content creator, you can see exactly what your voice levels are doing. So if you see that you're starting to peak out, you can just simply adjust the gain on the microphone and it'll update it live. The dial here is actually a multi-function dial. So if you hold down for a couple of seconds, it'll switch to this mode. If you had your headset plugged into the bottom in the 3.5mm, then you can adjust the volume on the headset.
Right.
Hold down the button again for a couple of seconds. Now you can fade between the microphone and the headset. So because the microphone plugs into your PC via USB, it also acts as a USB sound card. So if you wanted to hear more side tone, so hear the microphone through your headset, you can fade it to the right. Likewise, if you wanted to fade out the microphone side tone and you wanted to hear more of the PC audio, you can fade it to the right. By default, it's balanced 50-50. So hold down again and it resets back to the factory setting. You can also tap on this button and it will mute the microphone. Then flipping it around to the back, we have 4 different pickup patterns. So cardioid is the most commonly used. For say you're content creating, you're streaming video games or you're creating a YouTube video, then you would use cardioid, and that's when you're just a single person talking in front of the microphone. Then if you can switch to bi mode, so then if you were say you're podcasting, then you can set up the microphone between 2 people and it will pick up my voice from here and then it will pick up the other person's voice from behind. Then you can switch again to stereo. So if you're a musician, you're playing a guitar and you're singing as well, then it will pick up both left and right channels. So when you play the audio back, it will actually pick up both those channels independently. And finally, we have Omni. So that will use all the capsules in the microphone, and in an environment like this, where I have a table full of people, it will pick up everybody's voice. So as I said, most commonly used would be cardioid. And I'll set it back to cardioid for the demonstration. So another key difference between the Yeti X and the standard Yeti microphone, the original Yeti has 3 capsules. Now the Yeti X has 4. So that enables better isolation between left and right channels or front and back. And also when you're using it in cardioid, it'll get your direction a lot better than say the 3 capsules.
And those capsules are directly under that dome.
Correct, yes, and they're set up in different angles. So another key thing with these microphones, most broadcast microphones like this are very similar, where they're front facing. So in an environment like this, when it comes with this stand, then it'll pick up the front, back, left and right independently. So it does come with the stand. It also features a threaded mount on the bottom, so that'll allow it to connect to a shock mount and of course onto a boom arm. So if you were to mount it off a table, then it gets suspended off the boom arm and via the shock mount to help eliminate bumps out of the table.
And the stand is free. It's not $1,000 like we've seen with
The stand
Apple
doesn't
stand.
come with... Yeah, so this it comes
Just for
with
their
this
monitor.
stand.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not like the
Yeah.
Apple monitor stand, but it is a separate item. So one really key feature with the new Yeti X is it's now part of the Logitech software.
Yep.
So I'll just shift over
Thanks.
that. And as we should know by now that Logitech had purchased Blue microphones roughly about a year ago. And the Pro X headset we launched, the Logitech G range, we launched that probably about a month ago, was the first product that saw some Blue voice integration with Logitech. And now we have Yeti X, which is being included into the Logitech G Hub software. So the G Hub software is the central piece of software that controls all of your devices. So your keyboard, your mouse, if we had a webcam plugged in, it would also appear in here, headset, and of course microphone. So it is that central piece that brings everything together. Now, a really cool feature here is the Blue voice integration. So what we'll do, just for demonstration purposes, Alex, I'll get you to pop on this headset. Now you won't hear this through the video, but yourself, you will hear it. And I'll hit the record button, and I'll get you just to talk towards this microphone, and just for a couple of seconds. And what we'll do is we're going to loop back some audio so you can hear yourself. And as we flick through each of the different presets, you'll hear the difference that it makes.
Sure. Okay. Testing. Hello. This is a Logitech Yeti Blue X. Well, Blue Yeti X.
Okay, so now if I play that back, you should hear yourself. So that's just natural. That's just how the microphone will pick up naturally without any filters. Now, if I enable this option here,
oh, it's louder, yeah.
You should hear a significant difference. So now we're starting to introduce a whole bunch of different filters. So high pass filters, so we can start to adjust different frequencies, noise reduction, expander gate, so that way we can start to eliminate some background noise. We can eliminate lower frequency or lower noises, so things like typing on a keyboard.
Sure. Just
clicking on a
pause
mouse.
for a sec because I'm hearing myself.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yes, I'll pause that.
Yeah.
And then equalizer settings for the microphone. So essentially, what we've done here is we've introduced these different presets. Not everybody is an audio engineer. I'm certainly not an audio engineer, but I do know the basics of tuning, equalizers and so forth, and I also have an idea of what I would like my voice to sound like. Whether it sounds like that or not, I can't tell. but this helps, I guess, bridge that gap. And
people often say when they hear themselves, "Oh, I didn't realize I sounded like that."
Sounded like that. That's
and,
right.
And here you can alter reality to make yourself sound better.
Yes. And so we have different presets here, and these are just to help get people started. So what you were listening to just then was Broadcaster. Then you can go through, what you would sound like on an FM radio station, AM radio station, if you wanted to hear what that sounded like. So the Blue engineers are actually developing these presets. You can then use that as a base guideline. So you think, okay, you go through each of these, you think, I think I like the sound of that one the most. Then you can start to tweak. If you wanted to remove some more background noise, or if you wanted to pick up the expander gate a little bit, so it cuts out a bit of that lower volume background noise.
And these settings will then affect how you're using the microphone when you're using it live.
Correct, yes.
Or for a recording, but I mean, you're using it to record.
Yes, and so the purpose of when we recorded that little snippet of audio is it'll keep replaying it back to you. So as you're making these adjustments, you'll hear live
you're hearing
how
in
you
real
sound.
time, yeah.
So unlike whereas in the past you'd have to make a setting, change a setting, record it again, play it back, and listen to how it sounded.
This is live.
This is live.
Much better, yeah.
So then, if you are a bit more advanced and you understand a bit more about, say, noise reduction, you can click on the advanced settings and you can go really, really deep into all of these settings.
And this is so that if you're in a noisy environment, for example, and you can't have a choice about the environment you're in for whatever reason, you can actually reduce some of that noise. So when you are recording, you don't hear that faint jackhammer sound from across the street or whatever it might be.
Exactly right. So let's say it's in the scenario between you and me right now. You could be interviewing me in an environment that you cannot control, and it's quite echoey in this room. So you can adjust some of these settings to help reduce some of that background echoing noise.
And the previous generation didn't have that?
No, not naturally in the software. No, it was just a USB microphone. You would have to then rely on third-party software to. So you could do it, but it was with third-party software.
Or you'd have to somehow process the audio after the fact. But here you're able to do it live and which is clearly a much better way of doing things.
Yes, that's right. And so once this is all set up, then it's saved. So then if you're using Audacity or if you're streaming on YouTube, then it would all be live. Now, if you want, you could actually preset these per different application you have installed. So for example, if you did have Audacity installed on here, you could drop this down and then select on Audacity and then make all of these changes. And as you launch that application, then the changes that you've saved for that software configuration will then become effect.
Sure.
You can also adjust the lighting. So all of the lighting on the actual unit here is RGB lighting. And you can adjust the colors. So for example, we've got live set to green. If I want to change that to blue, I can set it to blue and it'll adjust the ring on the dial. For the mute function, it's set to red. And if I just tap on that microphone, it'll just go to red. But if I wanted that to be really obvious that I'm on mute, I could change it to breathing. I could adjust how fast I want that to flash. And now I can show it's very obvious that I'm on mute. You can adjust each of the colors of the different modes. So when we went through the multifunction, we had blue, white, and purple. The metering, so this live metering, by default, the standard is green when everything's great, yellow when you're starting to get a little bit high, and then red when you're peaking out. But if you didn't like the red color, if you wanted to change that to purple, you can just change that to purple, and that'll change that.
Whatever you want.
And then on the back side of the microphone, we have each of the different modes. So we set the cardioid, and that's white. But if I wanted to change that to red, I could change it to red, and that'll adjust on there.
I mean, the only thing it won't do for you is sing or speak.
Yeah. I mean, it's like
it's not autonomous.
If you're like me and you don't have a very good voice, it's not going to help me to sing, is it? And finally, we can adjust the output on the 3.5mm on the bottom of the microphone.
Right.
So again, like we could do through the multifunction dial, we can adjust the direct monitoring by to mic or PC, the volume, and also the equalizer. Now it is very simple. Again, you don't need to know all of the details of each of the equalizer settings. You can select, for example, I would like to set it for cinematic, so I'm watching movies, or bass boost because of the type of music I listen to. Or finally, you can just adjust bass and treble and enable EQ, advanced EQ, and you can adjust each of the different frequencies independently.
Yeah.
So it gives you as much customization as you would like, or as little as you would like, depending on your knowledge level.
Or desire to explore.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, its whole intent is to help bridge that gap between a basic microphone and for somebody that doesn't have the knowledge on how to set up a microphone, and a very advanced setup where you may need an interface and a preamp and so forth. This will help
it's bringing those advanced features down into a consumer product.
Correct, yeah. Another feature here is with these presets, these are just the ones that we've preloaded into the software. And as I said, the engineers are creating more and more every day, but you can browse for more presets. So this is a community-based cloud platform. So if I wanted to, I can save one of my presets and upload it, and it could be for a specific application, it could be for a specific purpose like podcasting, or it could be a particular game. So Mike for CSGO, so somebody created a profile for Counter-Strike Global Offense.
Or you may wish to simulate for some reason that you're in an airport terminal or somewhere noisy. I mean, normally you don't want that, but
if you set up that's right. So if you set up like the noise reduction for that environment, and somebody else has already set one up for an airport terminal, then that's a good baseline to start from.
Sure. No, but I mean, you might want to make it sound like you might want to make it noisier. You might want to do the opposite of what the software is designed to do. You might want to add some noise.
I mean,
But before, instead of doing it in post, you're doing it in pre, because you could. You never know how people are going to want to use the device.
Correct. Yeah.
But most of those would be for removing various forms of noise as an initial thing.
And improving your audio quality.
Clarity, yeah. Right. And so, is this a global launch, or has this already launched in the States?
So no, it hasn't. It is a global launch. It'll be available mid-October. And it's announced now. In Australia, it will retail for $299.
And there must already be buzz about it. People are excited.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it is quite unique, and there's nothing like it in the market. So we're really excited for it to hit the shelves.
It's amazing that everything can be updated. Even a microphone, which you would, probably for 100 years has only had minimal updates.
Yep.
And
the beauty of innovation.
That's it. That's it. And I'm trying to think. Do you also make other sort of more portable microphones, or the handheld style, or is this the one that you're focusing on?
So today, this is the one that we're focusing on. This is the newest product. There are other products in the range. So we have the Yeti that most people are familiar with. We have a Yeti Nano, which is quite a bit smaller than both the Yeti and the Yeti X. It still supports 2 different pickup pattern modes, and which is both the bimodal and the cardioid. And then we have the Snowball and the Snowball Ice. So probably the original USB microphone, which is the round one. And yeah, it's still on the shelves today.
And are people able to use a USB-A to USB-C or USB-A to Lightning adapter and then use it with their iPhones and iPads or Android devices?
It doesn't have support for mobile devices right now. It is just USB to PC.
Sure, but I mean, if somebody had an adapter and they plugged it in, and would it work with their voice recorder or other?
I haven't tried it myself.
Okay, yeah.
Couldn't answer that question. At the end of the day, it does just install as a
USB device,
USB microphone.
Do you think that the engineers will work on an app for those wanting to use it in a mobile?
I'm sure they are. Obviously, mobile devices are becoming more and more
Sure.
popular.
I mean, look, a laptop is not a hugely difficult thing to carry around. It's not your desktop, and I'd imagine professionals are going to be using their PCs or Macs. Does it work with Mac?
It does, yes.
And so does that software come on a Mac as well?
Yes, it does.
Okay,
yes.
great.
Yeah,
Well,
it supports
that
both Mac and
keeps
PC.
everybody happy.
Yep.
And so on a Mac, you would have to use a USB-A to USB-C adapter if it's one of the newer ones.
Correct, yes.
But that's just an adapter.
Yes, yep.
Sweet. What anything else we should know about this?
I think that about covers it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.